What's up, guys, and welcome to a brand new review where today I'm talking about MaXXXine. This is the third film in the X trilogy following X and Pearl. Pearl's the sequel, which was also the prequel. This is the direct sequel to X, and it takes place a couple years down the line in the future. I'm not too sure what her age was in the X film, but in this, I think she said she's like 30-something years old, and she's made a name for herself in the porn industry, and now she wants to become an actress, and she wants to move into the big movies. So she gets a gig in a horror film directed by Elizabeth Debicki, but at the same time, her past starts to catch up to her, along with a serial killer on the loose named the Night Stalker. Now, this movie I was excited to see, not because of its plot or the trailers, but just because I was such a big fan of those first two movies. And this was a big disappointment for me. I thought this movie was actually going to be good, seeing that the first two movies were so good, but it almost felt forced. This felt like T. West was like, okay, we had such success with our first two films. Now it's like, we kind of have to do a third film, and he can have his trilogy. That's kind of what it feels like, because the story is paper thin. Maxine Minx, played by Mia Goth, look, she's given a great performance, as she did in those first two movies, but here she's trying to deal with the certain elements of her past coming back to haunt her, which I thought was an interesting element. And if this was just like her dealing with PTSD from the events from the film X, I thought that would have been good, but it doesn't really capitalize on that. It teases it at certain scenes, but it never fully capitalizes on it. It always goes back to this Kevin Bacon character. What's the deal with him? And honestly, Kevin Bacon was the best part of the movie for me. And I wish he was in it more, and I wish he had more to do. He was fantastic. And Giancarlo Esposito, Moff Gideon himself, plays MaXXXine's manager, and I thought he was terrific in this movie. This is one of the best performances that I've ever seen from him. I mean, he also appeared in a movie called The Vampire Dancing Girl. What was the name? Abigail. Yes, he also starred in that, which he was fine, but it seemed like he was just kind of picking up a paycheck in that. Here, it seemed like he actually cared, and he did a great job with the role. But overall, the movie disappointed me. Other than, having good performances, the story just wasn't there. Other than her dealing with her past and the stuff with the Night Stalker, which kind of fell flat on its face and didn't work for me. By the end of it, it was just like, okay, what can we do to make this relevant to the X film? What is a question that you could have had from that X movie that we can bring full circle into this movie? And maybe if it was written a little better or more well realized, I think it would have worked a lot better. But in this case, it just kind of feels like the ending of the movie was an alternate ending almost. It just didn't feel satisfying to me. I thought some of it was predictable. I thought the middle of the movie was pretty boring. I was fighting sleep. I thought the best part about it was like the opening, that first act and the setup to it. But as the film goes along, it continues to get worse and worse, I think. So by the end of it, look, I didn't hate this movie, but I didn't like it either. I was not impressed by this, and I was disappointed by it. And at the end of the day, MaXXXine is a 2.5 out of 5-star film for me. And if you guys want to go see a horror film in theaters right now, I wouldn't even consider this horror. What would you even consider this? This wasn't scary. The film to see in this genre now is Longlegs. I have a review up for it now. You can check that out. And yeah, so that's where I'm at with MaXXXine, guys. Comment down below. Did you see this film? Do you plan on seeing it? What's your favorite film in the X trilogy? Mine, I think, is X, with Pearl being a close second. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for a bunch of new reviews coming in the future. We've got the finale of The Acolyte coming this Wednesday. I'm going to be talking about. Also, we've got reviews for Twisters, The Woman in the Sea, The Young Girl in the Sea, the Daisy Ridley Disney swimming film is coming soon. We're going to be talking about that. Guys, you can follow me on Twitter and or X at RyanKing72 and Instagram and TikTok at KingOfRises131. And that's what it for me. Thank you so much for watching my review for MaXXXine. And until next time, over and out.